Yo, how's it going guys? KPR here bringing us another video, and today I'm going to be ranking all the tacticals in Black Ops 6. I started using some of these and I actually thought some of them got a bit better compared to how they were, especially with one of them, but one of them from the previous games is actually way worse. It's not even comparable to the other ones. Like, it sounds good on paper, but they did not execute it well, so it's not really ranked too good. But anyways, my dudes, now let's get into the ranking, starting off with number 8, because there are 8 tacticals in the game. My fault, should have said that before. So at number 8, we got the proximity alarms. Now the reason why these are at number 8 is because I don't really see too much of a use for them. It's like, why are they there? You might as well just use a blast trap or something else. I'm pretty sure Shadow doesn't get detected by it, so if the blast trap's not gonna get detected by it, which the prox alarm is way worse since it can't even kill, it just beeps, and you best hope that you know where you set it up, because it's just going to show like a radius. It's not going to tell you exactly where it is. It's going to be a decent radius and you're just going to guess where it came from. Now the good thing about it though, like the only redeeming quality about it, is that it will not get jammed when a signal jammer is out on the field. That is actually really surprising, and I'm glad they did that, because it's like, not only is it the worst tactical in the game, but it's going to get jammed as well. Like, nah bro, nah. So yeah, the good thing about it, cannot get jammed at all, but there's not really much of a use for it in my opinion. You can use it for points of course, but like if you want to use it to get points, you might as well just use a decoy at that point, which is just a better point farmer than this. And this is also mainly if you're camping. I've only seen this about twice out on the field, and I've played this for over 50 hours now. So yeah, just not a good tactical at all. Maybe they should have changed it up a bit to do something else, like it slows them down or something, or it just disorients them in some sort of way, like the alarm, to make it decent or viable. Yeah, so that's why this is just dead last. Not really worth taking. You're just wasting your tac slot. There are definitely way better options than this one. Alright my dudes, now going on to number 7, we actually got the shock charge, and it kind of disappoints me because it sounds really good on paper. Instead of it activating as soon as it hits the floor or whatever surface you attached it to, now it's more of a trap setup. So wherever you throw it at, it'll be there until an enemy walks by it. I honestly don't know the radius of it, but it only lasts around 2 to 3 seconds. I'm pretty sure it's 2.5 seconds, and that's not really a lot. And the bigger nerf that came to it is that the enemies don't have to shoot. It doesn't force them to shoot, so they can just be shocked at, and they could wait until you come around the corner in order for them to actually mow you down. That's a pretty hefty nerf in my opinion compared to the other games where you were forced to shoot, and usually the enemies would be going around the corner when you would have to reload, which is why it was actually really useful. But now they can just wait it out. Maybe if there was like a trade-off, like it didn't let you move at all, except that you would be able to decide whether you want to shoot or not, that would be a good trade-off. It'd still be a decent tactical, and it wouldn't really be too bad. Like, I would say this tactical is probably at D tier at most. It can be fun to use, and sometimes it could be helpful if you're trying to hold down a point. I actually saw someone use the shock charge with a blast trap, and they would just put them together so the person running by would actually be hit by it, which is pretty smart. But the problem is a bunch of people are running flak jackets, so each time I would walk through that, I'd just be like, bro, what was the point of that? I'm still alive and I have a stim right here. I'm full health and I just mowed you down. Like yeah, it's still not that good. So yeah, it just pains me to say it, but this is just D tier, too situational, and not that good. Just not that good at all. Alright my dudes, going on to number 6, we actually got the decoys. Now the reason they're at number 6 is because they're alright. They're not really good at doing their job, like distracting the enemy, because I feel like almost no one looks at their minimap at all or pay attention to it. So it's not good at distracting people. Maybe people who are sound hoarding, but once you hear that or get used to the first person you see using it, you're just gonna be like, all right, I know that's probably just a decoy, so I'm gonna go for something else. You can deceive people like that, but that's on very rare occasions or so. I would say maybe that happens mostly in Search and Destroy, but I rarely see it happen in any other game mode. Regardless of those facts though, this is actually a pretty good tactical if you're just trying to farm points in order to get your streaks and stuff like that. If you're trying to get badges for them, this is actually a pretty good way to get your streaks much faster. This is a pretty good point farmer in my opinion. I was using it a lot in objective game modes and I was getting a bunch of score streaks with them. Granted, I am using the strategist specialty, but I always run that since I'm gonna be playing objective game modes way more often than I will be with any other mode, so might as well take that one instead. But I honestly thought that the strategist specialty would affect the decoy since destroying, you know, equipment and stuff like that, and sometimes capturing points, or actually all the time capturing points, gives you extra points for that. So I was like, yo, this is gonna be insane. It's going to give me a bunch of streaks like nothing. Granted, it still does, but I thought it was gonna give me even more since I had the strategist specialty. And it would have definitely been up way higher if it actually combined with that one, because it would have just been broken. You would have been able to get streaks like nothing, but still a pretty decent tactical nonetheless. You could be running this just to farm points. I don't know if it also affects your weapon XP or not, but that'd be pretty useful. I know in the past 2 previous CODs it did at first, but then they would make it so it would give you less points. And knowing them, they probably changed it just like that from the start, since they're like, we don't want to make the same mistake. But if it lets you get more weapon XP, I would suggest running this, because sometimes just getting weapon XP is such a hassle. But thankfully they gave everyone back their legacy tokens again, which was just dumb to take them away from the start. Anyways, my dudes, that's all I really gotta say about the decoys. C tier for sure, and they're pretty viable in most situations. Now moving on to number 5, we actually got the smokes. Some of you may be surprised. I actually wanted to put these way lower before I found out they actually fixed a huge bug that was with it. And in case you guys didn't know, smokes actually let you see enemies' nameplates when they were inside the smoke, and you can see them across from it as well. It's like, bro, what is the point of smokes? I was gonna put this probably at number 7, but thankfully they fixed that bug by the time I ranked this. And it's just a really annoying tactical to go up against if a bunch of people are spamming it, since a bunch of sight lines are going to be cut. This is a useful tactical, of course, if they're camping and you're just trying to get away from them. They can't switch to a thermal, but I truly hate all the thermals in this game. They're just too bright at times. I don't like the green thermal at all. I'd prefer the black and white thermals over these ones in the game. So yeah, I'm just not going to be running thermals, and people are using smokes. I'm just going to use a different weapon, probably the GS45's dual wielded, since, you know, they still won't be able to see me and I'll be able to murk them a bit faster if I'm up in their face with it. And using the smokes actually made me like them a bit more, because I was able to cut a bunch of sight lines and it forced the enemies to run into my line of sight. And I was just around the corner waiting for them to run through it, and they just didn't know where they were getting shot from, and I was just getting a bunch of kills or pushing points like nothing. So yeah, this tactical definitely B tier. I would say low B tier if whatnot, just because I don't like the thermals. If I like them, probably be closer to A tier, but that'd just be my opinion. If you guys think this should be lower or higher, let me know down in the comments. Now this one might be a bit more controversial, because I'm pretty sure most of you believe this tactical is pretty worthless, but it's going to have to be the spy cam. And the reason why is because you don't really have to hold down at all. If you see the enemy right away, you can literally just pull it up right away, then just put it back down, and it'll mark the enemy. And it's like a, if you guys play Siege, it's like a lion scan, old lion scan before it got nerfed to oblivion. So you're going to be able to see them through walls, be able to shoot them through most surfaces depending on the AR or SMG you're using. But even the 9mm Syrian is able to pierce through some of the buses in Nuketown. So I'm just like, bro, I can literally just wall bang them. And the good thing about it is that if they're running smokes, you could just literally pull this up and it'll be a way in order for you to mark the enemies for your teammates, so they're able to mark them through the smoke as well. And I'm pretty sure the only way to actually counter this might be cold-blooded, but I could be wrong, because sometimes the enemies weren't showing like a triangle on them, but if I actually hit them in the middle, like in the middle circle, it would still mark them. So I'm just like, all right, so there's not really a true counter for this. That's pretty sick. And yeah, it's just really underrated. I would suggest running this a few times. This might be more useful like in search or something like that, but I liked using it in objective game modes. It was really fun, and I was just getting a decent amount of kills with it. I would say it's pretty high B tier, not really A tier yet. So yeah, I'd rank it just high A tier. The next after these though are definitely A tier, but I don't really know how to rank 3 and 2, so I was just like, alrighty, I'll just go by which one's more annoying to me. Honestly, these are really interchangeable, but definitely A tier for both of these. So at number 3, we got the concussion grenade, or concussion, whatever, but it's just gonna be number 3 because it's pretty annoying as well. But I find the flash way more annoying than I do with the concussion, especially because less people run this. But it can be really frustrating when you can't even turn fast at all to murk the enemy, and you're sometimes already in a gunfight and then you just get concussed and the enemy just does an omni movement, just slides to the far left or far right, and you can't even go after them because your sensitivity is just slowed down way too much, and it can just be annoying to be hit by it randomly, especially if they're spamming it. I was actually using this tactical way more often when I first started, like before I actually unlocked the tacticals I actually liked using more. So yeah, I always gravitated more towards the concussion in almost every COD game, but I never thought it was truly the best one in the game. I would say this is ranked definitely just like at A, like no A minus, no A plus, just A tier for sure. But they're definitely not always the best in the game. There could be way better options to take, but in this one, it's definitely just a third place for me. Still a really useful tactical though if you want to take this instead of the flash, because you're going to be able to concuss a bunch of enemies and they're not really able to run away or really fight back if they're not already looking down your sight line you're coming from. Now at number 2, we got the most annoying for the past, I would say 2 or 3 CODs now, the flash. This is just a really annoying tactical to go up against, and it's probably the most spammed at the game. I've been spammed at so many times where my screen was just a pure white flash for like 20 seconds, bro. I was just like, bro, why am I even playing this right now? And it was like sometimes at the dead of night, so I've just got flashbanged IRL as well. It was pretty annoying, so I actually had to change it to the blackout screen instead, because I was like, bro, this is probably messing with my eyes a lot and I should not be looking at just a pure white screen out of nowhere for 24 seconds. Now, if you're one of those people that runs Tactical Expert and just constantly spamming flashes, I hate you. But if you're a subscriber to it, I love you. But still, hate you and love you. Now, Scavenger also gives you back your tactical and your lethal, so I was actually spamming this a lot, and I'm pretty sure I was just annoying the enemy. Whether you take this, you will be getting some sort of value, even if you're just helping out your teammates. The flash is pretty annoying to go up against. That's all I really gotta say about the flashbang. Pretty good, definitely high A tier, and if it lasted a bit longer, it'd be pretty annoying. But at least, wait, did they nerf? Oh yeah, they did nerf it a bit, but I still believe it's should get a bigger nerf. Like Tackmaster, just be completely immune to it, because in the previous games you just get flashed for a second or two. I forgot how long it was, but it was still a good amount of time for the enemy to just catch you off guard. It's just like, bro, why am I even taking Tackmaster? There's no point of it. I'm still going to be caught off guard by the flashbang. Anyways, my dudes, going on to number 1, we got the Stim Shot. And the reason it's at number 1, well, it's just really useful, and it's the only tactical to regen on its own without needing Quarters Masters. Quarters Master makes it so it's a bit faster, but even then you wouldn't really need it since it's going to be regenning no matter what. I take Scavenger with it, and I'm able to get it a lot throughout the game. And it's actually my most used tactical. It's just really useful when you're in a gunfight. You're just able to pop that stim, and then you're going to be able to murk those enemies most of the time. The gameplay does not really help out with my case, but it's still nonetheless the best tactical in the game. I also run this a lot because when you're capturing a point or holding it down, you're going to have to be popping stims constantly, since they're going to be throwing a bunch of lethals at you, and you're going to be able to survive the first 3, but the 4th one might actually murk you. So you best be hoping you're running Tactical Expert with it, or you have Scavengers so you're able to get it from a body you just dropped. Anyways, my dudes, that's all my rankings for the tacticals. Let me know down in the comments if you guys would rank them much differently, or if you guys believe some of them you should be higher or lower than some of the places I put them at. Just remember, my dudes, this is just my list. If you guys have your own list, leave it down in the comments. Hopefully the matches are going much better for you guys and you guys aren't running into too many sweats right now. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. With that being said, have a good day and stay safe. Later.